Attention gamers. If you were to tell me from time to time you didn't like a good hooker at your service, I'd say you're lying, and now that this video is already demonetized, let's talk about why everyone builds and plays Nautilus and Blitzcrank wrong. You see, these champs are already more broken than a fat pig's dreams of Logan liking him, and while the standard mouth-breathing MOBA fire meta way to play them is to get beefy and suckle off the teat of your fragile AD carry, while offering your peeling services for free as if you are literally an ape in a sweatshop. But League is a team game, so you have to realize in most ranks it's every man for himself, which is why step 1 is to build full AP. Why get a pick and pray your team has the brain cells to capitalize when you can just walk up to Obama's wife yourself, get gaslit on her TikTok for glancing her way in the gym, and then kill her all by yourself? Or let's say you're peeling back from an overextended circus act you copiously call objective control, but you know your team will do 9 total damage to the focus target. That's when you take responsibility for removing her from the fight yourself. This way, instead of being reliant on fantasies of teammates following up late game, you can play like a total moron and get picked knowing that everyone and their uncle is blowing their ult on you now. And what better peel than to have everyone just focus you instead, to the point where they are stuck without cooldowns when your butt buddies finally arrive. And this revelation has resulted in me now winning 5 normal games in a row. So let's start this guide with the runes. Now, I'm not saying that naming your rune page Taint Cupcakes will result in more success, but I'm also not saying that either. Popping Dark Harvey cherries is imperative to making carries fear you, and then basically you want MS showing up so many times on here you think you're watching a damn Vumerity commercial. And that's because the playstyle revolves around you living in the rivers. The build is this every game, and you may wonder why you get the poke support item, so let me answer that with a quick story. Imagine you started Relic Shield and everything is going to plan. You nail and invade with the plan to level 1 gank that Samsung Galaxy Tadpole, but Diana selfishly wants chicken instead, so thankfully your AD carry is a grade A homie, so you still end up getting it, but it's sloppier than Joe himself. You headbot thinking 3v2 easy peasy, but it was actually 2v2 cause Dirty D's a douche, so you are colorless for a moment when if she just would have followed orders it would have gone like this. She then dies during a dragon euthanization which turned hostile, but you and the boys filibuster like pros till she gets back. You're now killing every idiot who auto-locks the latest reworked champ and making big boy plays around the rift until you have snowballed the game so out of control that you can do dumb things because you know they will forfeit. Yet you still haven't upgraded your support item because you went Relic Shield, and that's my short answer why you always go the poke one. Anyways, do all this and your whole team will be racking in the stacks so much they will need a new wallet. Like the cutting edge sleek ones you can get from Ridge. Jump scare real life RAV here, cause the sponsor of today's video. Ridge says they would appreciate if I was on camera, so trust me, I'm as uncomfortable as you right now. You get the tabletop cam as if this is some sleight of hand magic trick channel. Just look at my old junk wallet, fat, out of shape, bloated and hard stuck, and always making it look like I'm rocking a half chub at church just from sitting in my pockets getting weird side eye from the nuns. But if you compare it to the efficient tight Ridge wallet, you can immediately see value here. It's the perfect card and cash carrying device with no fat leathery grossness. Let's see what the old Ravi boy is racking in his Ridge wallet. A gift card to Dunkin' Donuts, nice. Let's see what else. Okay, I really like donuts, but you can also see I was able to hold the entire amount of ad revenue that YouTube paid me last month in here with ease as well. Anyways, there's so many awesome designs of wallets and other dank products. For example, look at this dank key case that I'm rocking as well. And all of their products have lifetime warranties because the quality is that good, so go to the link in the description or use code RAV for 10% off your order of one of these puppies today. Okay, now getting into the strat. I always give my jungler the best leash he's ever had. Like the leash that other leashes tell him not to worry about, so that I can bond a friendship with him where he will screw his clear order and start looking to commit homicides with me. If mid is pushing, then it's easier for us to get first blood than it is to eat more than one Lay's potato chip, but this one wasn't biting, so we abort like Roe v. Wade was never overturned and head south. We know they'll be more caught off guard than a young EDP 445 expecting cupcakes, but turns out my ADC would prefer to be dead before we arrive, so she finds herself cosplaying a fleeing pinata while I grab Katara, which earns the little goat boy first blood. We keep chasing, but eventually Samira can't escape her own stupidity, so she dies as Pantheon is over here looking like he can't remember if he turned the stove off and should go back and check, but problem solved, he's just dead now. And then I flash grab Professor Akali's ass to end the first sequence with 2 kills for my jungler and no sums on the enemy mid laner. So at this point I could sit bot lane AFK simulator, watch Samira miss last hits, or I could hang out in a random river bush and get ready to see how far I can shove my giant metal mega hand up a spider shithole. So I choose the second, and then I commit to the plan of standing still and right clicking while mentally preparing to flame the shit out of Lulu if she doesn't rotate, but luckily all works out and now their jungler is even further behind. Anyways, their support has gotten wind of my OP nomadic strat, so now he thinks he can just roam and succeed, but little does he know I have something else planned for him. My calculated negligence of my own hometown lane means they do have priority down there and are trying to use it to steal shit from us, but my Inspector Gadget arm isn't gonna let that happen. Eventually my Jigalo shows up asking who stole his buff, and I'm sitting here with a blue ring around my feet pointing at two other people, and let's just say shit gets hostile while I'm peacefully watching from over the trees, making sure the waterbender doesn't get to dance on the deathless floor for too long while we wait for Samira to proc her shrapnel storm to kill off those blue buff stealers. Then most people may see this as just two teammates killing a dragon, but there are details that my brain can't ignore. There's quite literally a fight to the death over if cats are better than dogs up top, and I have to say in this one I am team dog with a small bit of favoritism towards death fetish goats as well. My Samira is filming episodes for 1000 Ways to Die, and this one was supposed to be via a fat frog lick, but she failed to account for the fact that I have so much peel I could zest an entire wedding cake, which in this case must have alerted the anus inspection authorities because everyone was trying to get in my ass. So I head over to Glitter Tits, ask her to swell me up like a wet tampon, and then I kite back just waiting for my time to give that waterbender a firm handshake and introduce her to my statue, which goes exactly how I had hoped. Captain Jack Sparrow's side chick is now making a lot of noise without doing much of anything, which is the ADC theme song I believe, but it does leave two of them low and looking like glow sticks, so I run in and prep for a mad Tesla queef and the kill. Then my job starts boiling down to posting up in the shrubs waiting for some unsuspecting Spartan to come looking for a place to take a piss, only for me to play a quick game of surprise you a dead bitch with him. I tell me jungler to meet me south for a bit of abuse, but it looks like Professor Akali is trying to clickbait my ass, so I hit a fat fusion fart and then follow her flash with one of my own, which reveals the entire extended family here in attendance, so I wave hey to Uncle Pantheon and then I run back to the people I'm more comfortable talking to while we all wait for someone to kill the damn spider in the room. Now you may have heard the saying about the 5 Ps, proper preparation prevents poor performance. Puck. I'm now edging for my second item like I have a fetish for it, because I can basically pick and punch any champ down to like 15% health, but then I'm just stuck there with my tin dick in my hand waiting for a hero, and while Samira thinks she'll be that guy, she isn't that guy, so I get ready to shake Katara's hand, which made me feel exhausted if I'm being honest, and you think you've seen it all till the sky shits out a Spartan, but little does he know my kindred is more juice than fruit in a blender, plus the whole dogs rule cats drool outcome is starting to take effect, which is bad news for the shitters in red. At this point we are cosplaying construction workers and sitting around watching one do all the work until I deem it a good time to pick off the squishy one, ask her to jump, turn her into a plump chickie, and then crush her hopes and dreams of having fun in this game. So the first theme that I noticed with this perma-roam AP strategy is that if your jungler abides by the buddy system that you set up, they will achieve Fedness Nirvana, as shown by Exhibit 6.9, as you continue forcefully bringing them things to eat until you win and appreciate the massive damage ween that you helped erect in this one. The second pick that I've been playing on is Nautilus, and this game's a great example of how this works even if the early game starts out badly, because you save all your shit for when the gothic mole rat flashes, only to remember that towers in this time period are known for their hate crimes against level 1s. But here's the thing, you have to commit to being a cuckwad, so instead of sitting down bot with your thumb up your ass catching up in XP, you keep looking to insert yourself literally anywhere else on the rift until you find a sex worker from the Ant Kingdom in River to whom you lend a large anchor and then benefit from a rotating carry, and voila, the gravy train has officially left the station. Then I stay mid knowing there's an opportunity to pick off Billie Eilish's ball sack, and I know if I hook her then she'll get put in the playpen until my mid rotates 6 years later to come and claim the free cash we just earned for her. Meanwhile Hoppy Zelda is up top looking like a goddamn snack, so I thread the Red Robe Academy needle, kill the bitch, and then cut the scene before anyone in the comments can tell me that wasn't worth But there comes a time in every quasi-trolling perma-Rome AP Nautilus support's life where he must go home and visit his family again, so I run and say hey to fat Uncle Frank and then devote my attention to Obama's wife, who I just know is gonna try to do something flashy and I was gonna be ready for it. Then full disclosure, I was headed mid to gank the little glowing goth ball, so I ran up thinking about all the shit I would buy with the cash, only to run into the pink sex ant instead, so I rough her up a bit, slap her around with my ship anchor till she decides that she'd rather let a collie kill her off on the other side of the wall, as it's less embarrassing than Rift Alexa announcing that she died to a support. I'm hearing voices in my head chanting that a Kench is getting unbenched and the imposter syndrome of me being a bad support is taking over, so I head bot to show Thresh's last kidnap victim how much damage my E does with just a wee itty bitty AP, and then we try to answer the age-old question of how many licks does it take to get to the center of he who typically does the licking around here, and the answer for those on the edge of their seats was around 9. Anyway, I plan on heading up top to see if Riven be looking to get Divnall while my top is pinging me off as if she has an allergy to free gold or some shit, so I obviously ignore that blatant display of ineptitude by running straight and slapping my alt key like it pissed me off, and then giving the little dagger douche some gold that she didn't ask for. I still may only have a half an item and tier 2 booties, but ADCs are more fragile than paper piñatas, so one little pull and she's wondering if Carmen Sandiego stole her health because she doesn't know where in the world it went, as her fat frog-like friend eventually pisses off. We slay dragon because that's just how the homies like to do, and then I see this small storm cloud of passive-aggressive voice lines hobbling away, so I walk up point and click ruin her day and then shove an anchor up her anus, which sets up a situation where my mid laner can chuck a patch of pumpkins at her for the kill. At this point I'm just deep in thought trying to decide which 80-year-old I should vote for in the next presidential election when I see Obama's wife over the hill looking to campaign for the Democrats, but little does she know this submarine has a Luden, so I launch a rusty boy at the babe and then unload a full-blown ADC begone combo for the kill. Now let this play make my point earlier about how to build. You see, normally a Nautilus support is limited late game by which teammates he has to follow up, which means roaming around alone like a missing Alzheimer's patient would typically do nothing, but because of this build I can almost one-tap their assassin and force her to waste an ult that she otherwise would probably use to impregnate one of my dead teammates in the next team fight otherwise. Then when a weird uncoordinated team fight does break out over no apparent objective, you aren't forced to rely on anyone else to focus the carry that you picked, because you can just waltz your large metal ass right over and one-shot the bitch yourself. And when the dumb overextended sex ant thinks her ult is gonna save her, you can politely demonstrate the damage of a full AP anchor before uniting with the boys to make sure Butch Cut Zelda dies as well. So in summary, because since you are now a solo bolo threat, when you inevitably position worse than a condom at a convent, you can huff your copium to the fullest degree, knowing that you may have gotten picked but you wasted ults and resources of the bad guys, which is the best form of low elo supporting you can ask for, and it's been resulting in both wins and some surprising levels of enjoyment for me, so I do recommend, and thanks again to Ridge for sponsoring this video. RAV out.